the tracks to a new world.
House on the hill.
Get a job on the coast.
Find a lover you're sure you believe in.
You get a pool in the back.
Get the part of your life in your hand. But then the earthquake hits and the bank closes in.
And you realize you didn't know anything. Nobody told you the best way to steer when the wind starts to blow.
A stranger.
All of a sudden, your life is different than you planned.
And you have to stay till you somehow find a way to be sure of what
Will be.
then you might be free. A new world crashes down like thunder. A new world charges through the air. A new world just beyond the mountain. Waiting there, waiting there. A new world shattering the silence. There's a new world I'm afraid to see. A new world louder every moment. Come to me, come to me.
Now I have come to the conclusion that one useless are called a law firm, and that 3 or more become a Congress. And by God, I have had Congress. For 10 years, King George and his parliament have gulled, cullied, and diddled these colonies with their illegal taxes. And still, this Congress will not grant any of my proposals for independence, even so much as the courtesy of a common debate. Well, good God, what in the hell are they waiting for? Will someone shut that man up?
Sit down, John. Sit down, John.
For God's sake,
John, sit down. Sit down, John. Sit down, John. For God's sake, John, sit
I
down.
say vote yes, vote yes, vote for independency.
But it's hot as hell in Philadelphia.
Vote yes,
No!
vote yes.
Oh, for God's sake, John, sit down.
Good God. I do believe you've laid a curse on North America. A curse that we hear now rehearsed in Philadelphia. A second flood, a simple famine, plagues of locusts everywhere, or a cataclysmic earthquake, I accept with some despair. But no, you sent us Congress. Good God, sir, was that fair? Now I say this with humility in Philadelphia, where your responsibility in Philadelphia. If you don't want to see us hanging from some far-off British hill, if you don't want the voice of independency forever still, then God, sir, get thee to it, for Congress never will. You see, we piddle, twiddle, and resolve. Not one damn thing do we solve. Piddle, twiddle, and resolve. Nothing's ever solved in foul, beaten, fuming, foggy, filthy Philadelphia.
John, John, is that you carrying on? John.
Oh, Abigail, Abigail, I have such a desire to knock heads together.
I know, my dearest, I know. But that's because you make everything so complicated. It's all quite simple, really. Just tell the Congress to declare independency. Then hurry home, get out of there, and hurry home to me. Our children all have dysentery. Little Tom is turning blue. Little Abby has the measles, and I'm coming down with flu. They say we may get smallpox.
Madam, what else is new? Now, Abigail, in my last letter, I wrote to you to organize the women to make the saltpeter for gunpowder. Have you done as I asked?
I'm afraid we have a more urgent matter.
More urgent, madam.
There's one thing every woman's missed in Massachusetts Bay. Don't smirk at me, you egotist. Pay heed to what I say. We've gone from Framingham to Boston, and we cannot find a pin. Don't you know there is a war on? Say the tradesman with a grin. Well, we will not make saltpeter until you send us pins.
Pins, madam. Saltpeter.
Pins.
Saltpeter.
Pins.
Saltpeter.
Pins.
Saltpeter.
Pins.
Peter.
Pins.
Peter.
Pins.
Peter.
Pins.
Peter.
Pins.
Done, madam.
Done, John. Hurry home, John.
As soon as I am able. And how goes it with you?
Not well, John. Not well at all. I live like a nun in a cloister, solitary, celibate. I hate it.
I live like a monk in an abbey. Ditto, ditto, I hate it.
Write to me with sentimental effusion. Let me revel in romantic illusion.
Do you still smell of vanilla and spring air? And is my favorite lover's pillow still firm and fair?
What was there, John? Still is there, John. Come soon to my cloister. I've forgotten the feel of your hand.
Soon, madam, we shall walk in Cupid's grove together. And we'll fondly survey that promised land.
Till then,
I am as I ever was and ever shall be. Yours, 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 yours.
Saltpeter John.
You say the price of my love's not a price that you're willing to pay. You cry in your tea, which you hurled in the sea when you see me go by. Why so sad? Remember we made an arrangement when you went away. Now you're making me mad. Remember, despite our estrangement, I'm your man. You'll be back, soon you'll see. You remember you belong to me. You'll be back, time will tell. You'll remember that I served you well. Oceans rise, empires fall. New Washington, da da da. Washington's yielding his power and stepping away. Is that true? I wasn't aware that was something a person could do. I'm perplexed. Are they going to keep on replacing whoever's in charge? If so, who's next? There's nobody else in their country who looms quite as large. What? What? John Adams? I know him. Oh, that can't be. That's that little guy who spoke to me all those years ago. What was it, 85? That poor man, they're going to eat him alive. Oceans rise, empires fall. Next to Washington, they all look small, all alone. Watch them run. They will tear each other into pieces. Jesus Christ, this will be fun. Da 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 President John Adams? Oh, good luck.
A revolution and more shadows of war have taken their toll. But at the turn of the century, a new era is taking shape in Quincy, Massachusetts.
The year is turning. The factories hum, the streets bustle, and a nation begins to redefine itself.
And here in Quincy, rich with industry, artistry, and untold stories, the stage is set for voices of the past to speak to the future.
Time our happiness seemed never ending. I was so sure that where we were heading was right. Life was a road so certain and straight and unbending. Our little road with never a crossroad in sight. Back in the days when we spoke in civilized voices, women in white and sturdy young men at the
people out there unafraid of revealing that they might have a feeling they might have been wrong. There are people out there unafraid to feel sorrow, unafraid of tomorrow, unafraid to be weak, unafraid to be strong. There was a time when you were the person in motion. I was your wife. It never occurred to want more. You were my sky, my moon, and my stars, and my ocean. We can never go back to before. We can never go back to
As we sing about Quincy's history, we must take a moment to honor the strength and spirit that defined the city during one of our nation's most trying times, World War II.
Right here in Quincy, shipbuilders worked around the clock at the Four River Shipyard. Families grew victory gardens, children collected scrap metal, and the community rallied in support of the troops.
Listening to the radio, the music of the day lifted spirits and reminded us of home. And no voices capture the era quite like the Andrews Sisters. So now, in tribute to the resilience, unity, and heart of Quincy during those years, please enjoy this salute to the sounds that helped a generation carry on.
He was a famous trumpet man from out Chicago way. He had a boogie style that no one else could play. He was the top man at his craft until his number came up and he was on with the draft. He's in the army now, blowing reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. They made him blow a bugle for his Uncle Sam. It really brought him down because he couldn't jam. The captain seemed to understand because the next day the cat went out and adopted a band. And now the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. I toot, I toot, I tootly attitude. He blows an 8 to the bar. In boogie rhythm, he can't blow a note unless the bass and guitar are blowing with him. And now the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. No, 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 don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Till I come marching home. All the boys I've known, and I've known some, until I first met you I was lonesome. But when you came in sight, dear, my heart grew light, and this whole world seemed new to me. You're really swell, I have to admit. You deserve expressions that really fit you. And so I rack my brain trying to explain all the things you do to me. Amir, this to shame, please let me explain. Amir, this to shame means you're grand. Amir, this to shame, again I'll extend. Kiss, you're the grandest in the land. I could say Bella, Bella, even track 29. And can you give me a shine? Holding hands at midnight, 'neath the starry sky. Nice work if you can get it, and you can get it if you try. Strolling with the one boy, sighing sigh after sigh. Nice work if you can get it, and you can get it if you try. He was some boogie-woogie bugle boy of Company B. And when he plays boogie-woogie rhythm, he's enthusiastic as a buzz bee. And as the company jumps, when he plays reveille, he's the boogie-woogie bugle boy of Company B. Da, 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 da. And now the company jumps when he plays reveille, he's the boogie-woogie bugle boy of Company B.
And now, stay tuned for some commercial messages.
Did you know that Quincy was running on Dunkin' way before the rest of America? And that the first Dunkin' Donuts was founded right here in 1950?
Well, Howard Johnson's was also founded here in 1925, best known for having 28 flavors of ice cream. Now that's commitment.
Where's mine?
On the road around the corner, there's a place to go. The orange roofs of Howard Johnson's, join the folks who know. Good food, good fun, kids count to 28 flavors just for you at Howard Johnson's. Next stop, Howard Johnson's. Next stop,
Try Howard Johnson's Crispet Bar. Mmm, delicious, yes they are. Chocolate covered with a bite so neat. Peanut butter, crunchy sweet. Crispets are double, simply sublime. Counters and coin machines, just a dime. Brand marked for hungry Americans. Howard Johnson's.
Dunkin' Donuts. You can't find them in a grocery store. Dunkin' Donuts. You can't find them in a bakery. Dunkin' Donuts. You can't find them in a restaurant. Dunkin' Donuts. It's worth the trip.
Try Howard Johnson's Crispet Bar. It's delicious, yes they are. Chocolate covered with the bites of Johnson's. Peanut butter, crunchy sweet. Crispets are double, simply sublime. Counters and coins in a restaurant. Brand marked for hungry Americans. It's Howard Johnson's. Dunkin' Donuts. It's worth the trip. Howard Johnson's. Next stop.
Testing. Now please welcome David D'Olimpio, who will introduce a very special song.
I can't tell you how excited and happy I am to be here. As my song is played, I wrote it in 1981, and I recorded a solo version that was played on WJDA. My one and only fan mail came from a 4th grade teacher at the Montclair School named Janet Hassler. She asked me to come down and play the song and teach her kids the song, which I did. They took the song and they lobbied Mayor Tobin and the city council to accept it as the official city song. And they did. And now today, thank you. And now today the song is part of the 400th anniversary of the city of Quincy. The circle of my song is complete. May the circle of our lives be complete with song and joy.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. Thank you. The Cape has got its beaches and Cohasset has its shores. Plymouth and her pilgrims, Plymouth Rock and so much more. I've been all around this state, across the country too. But there's just one place that I call home. This place I'll share with you. Quincy, the place I call my home. The place where past and present meet and move to future goals. Quincy, I'd rather be. She's the city of the presidents, a home for you and me. Born and raised in Quincy Point or out on Adams Shore, German Huffsnacks, Montclair, Wollaston, and more. The quarries of West Quincy, the Neponset to the north, Swanton and Marymount bordering the shore. Quincy, the place I call my home, the place where past and present meet and move to future goals. Quincy, no place I'd rather be. She's the city of the presidents, a home for you and me. How long I'm away. If the road's been smooth or rocky, I look forward to the day I can see the sun shine on blue hills. Means I'm almost there. Back to friends and family, I think you know where. Quincy, the place I call my home, the place where past and present meet and move to future goals. Quincy, no place I'd rather be. She's the city of the presidents, a home for you and me. She's the city of the presidents, a home for you and me.
Okay, we've heard a lot about the men of Quincy making a lot of noise around these parts, right?
Yeah, but what about the first ladies?
Yeah, like Abigail Adams and Dorothy Quincy.
Well, famous actresses Ruth Gordon and Lee Remick are both from Quincy.
Ooh, I love Rosemary's Baby. No, but Lee Remick grew up right here. And she made her Broadway debut at the age of 18, starring in the Broadway musical Anyone Can Whistle by Stephen Sondheim.
I love him.
Right? Let's sing a song from Hello Dolly.
Wait, Ruth Gordon was a singer?
No, but she grew up right here on Winthrop Street, and she originated the role of Dolly Levi in The Matchmaker, which then became Hello Dolly.
Oh.
Let's sing.
Okay.
Okay.
I stand for motherhood, America, and a hot lunch for orphans. Take off your hat, sir. Betsy Ross's flag is passing. Do you see him on the hills at Gettysburg? Need that great triumphal arch. If you see him as he's trampling through the grapes of wrath, stand up and march, march, march.
I stand for motherhood, America, and a hot lunch for orphans. Take off your hat, sir. There's a tear-stained eagle passing. Do you see him on the bridge of Waterloo? Need that great triumphal arch. If you hear him singing Dixie in the sugar cane, stand up and march, march, march. I stand for motherhood, America, and a hot lunch for orphans. Take off your hat, sir. There's my country. Do you see him on the gates of Gettysburg?
Yes, Dad, I chopped that cherry tree down. Stonewall
If you
Jackson.
see him jumping through the waves of wrath, stand up and march, march. 7 years ago.
March, march, to form a more perfect union.
March, march. Stand the torpedoes, full speed ahead. March, march, march. Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna go and taste Saturday's high life. Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna get some life back into my life. I'm ready to move down in front. I've had enough of just passing by life with the rest of them, with the best of them. I can hold my head up high.
Everybody says don't, everybody says don't, everybody says don't. It isn't right, don't, it isn't nice. Everybody says don't, everybody says don't, everybody says don't walk on the grass, don't disturb the peace, don't skate on the ice. Well, I say do. I say walk on the grass, it was meant to feel. I say sail, tilt at the windmill, and if you fail, you fail. Everybody says don't, everybody says don't, everybody says don't get out of line. When they say that then, lady, that's a sign. 9 times out of 10, lady, you are doing just fine. Make just a ripple, come on, be brave. This time a ripple, next time a wave. Sometimes you have to start small, climbing the tiniest wall. Maybe you're going to fall, but it's better than not starting at all. Everybody says don't, everybody says can't, everybody says wait around for miracles. That's the way the world is made. I insist on miracles. If you do them, miracles, nothing to them. I say don't be afraid.
Anyone can whistle, that's what they say, easy. Anyone can whistle any old day, easy. It's all so simple. Relax, let go, let fly. So someone tell me why can't I can dance a tango, I can read Greek, easy. I can slay a dragon any old week, easy. What's hard is simple. What's natural comes hard. Maybe if you whistle, I'll let go. Teach me to flee and lower my guard. Maybe if you whistle, whistle for me.
Won't be trumpets or bolts of fire to say he's coming. No Roman candles, no angels choir, no sound of distant drumming. He may not be the cavalier, tall and graceful, fair and strong. Doesn't matter, just as long as he comes along. But not with trumpets or lightning flashes or shining armor. He may be daring, he may be dashing, or maybe he's a farmer. We can wait, what's another day? He has lots of hills to climb.
Quincy may be a city known for its presidential greatness, but it's also a place that celebrates music and arts and the people who bring those stories to life. Christopher Curtis is one of those people. A gifted composer and lyricist who attended Archbishop Williams High School in Braintree, he made his Broadway debut with Chaplin the Musical. We'd like to share some of his music with you now.
Mr. Chaplin, you may think I'm rather small, 'cause the posh papers are falling at your feet. So go ahead and snap me, and don't return my call, and build your house on top of Easy Street. But what you gonna do when it all falls down? 'Cause I let a little rumor spread. What you gonna do when I change the name of the person sleeping in your bed? What you gonna do when I tell the tale that makes the country turn its head? Just a little gossip and just a little lie. I'll simply say that little tramp is just a little spy. And what you gonna do when it all falls down? Hey there, Mr. Chaplin. Well, your act deserves applause. You wave our flag and the country is impressed. Do when it all falls down, and where you gonna go from there? What you gonna do when the money's gone, and who you gonna buy to care? What you gonna do when the country says, now get yourself out of here? What you gonna paint when you cannot paint the town? I'm gonna wipe that smile off that famous little clown. And what you gonna do when it all falls down? And all the king's horses and all the king's men who'll never put poor Charlie together again. And what you gonna do when it all falls
As we bring this afternoon's celebration to a close, we don't just look back, we look ahead. Quincy's story is born of shipbuilders, rebels, artists, educators, immigrants, and dreamers forging our own path. Independent, defiant, and proudly welcoming.
The spirit that carried Quincy through revolution, industry, and wartime now points us towards what's next. A future shaped by compassion, creativity, and courage. A future where history is honored, voices are heard, and everyone has a place.
So here's to the next chapter, written by all of us together. Bold, resilient, and full of hope.
Take care of this house. Keep it from harm. If bandits break in, marks off with a dream. The dream could be yours. Take care of this house. Be always on call. For this house is the hope of us all. Go out and tell our story. Let it echo far and wide. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. When justice was our battle and when justice was denied, make them hear you. Make them hear you. And say to those who blame us for the way we chose to fight, that sometimes there are battles which are more than black or white. And I could not put down my sword when justice was my right. Make them hear you. Go out and tell our story to your daughters and your sons. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And tell them in our struggle they were not the only ones. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. Your sword can be a sermon or the power of the pen. Teach every child to raise his voice and then my brothers then. Will justice be demanded by 10 million righteous men? Make them hear you. When they hear you, I'll be with you. I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts.
I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say. No one will love you as you are,
But won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious.
When the sharpest words wanna tear me down, gonna send a flood, gonna drown 'em out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me.
Another round of bullets hits my skin. So fire away, 'cause today I won't let the shame sink in.
We are bursting through the barricades and reaching for the sun.
We
sharpest words wanna cut me down. I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown 'em out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. This is me.
And I know that I deserve your love. There's nothing I'm not
When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown 'em out. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me.
Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum.
Okay, what did you think? And now it continues. So, just take a minute, please. Mayor Koch, someone said to me, where's your office, John? This is my office. The mayor created this. This used to be, if you're from Quincy, you know. If you're not from Quincy, this used to be a street. And Mayor Koch had a vision to make a green space in downtown. Isn't it amazing? And part of his decision to have a green space in downtown was to have performances like this. So can we put our hands together for Mayor Koch? There he is, there he is. I was looking for him. He was over there, now he's over there. Okay, so we have some food trucks if you're interested, but right now something very special is going to happen. It is my pleasure, let's see if the timing of this works out, to introduce truly stirring performances. A lively and historic concert of fife and drum music by the Boston Alarm Company, dressed in period-accurate civilian clothing. These talented performers bring to life the music and marching cadences once used to alert citizens of impending attack during colonial times. They are joined today by a legendary group, the Lexington Minutemen, the second oldest independent military organization in the Western Hemisphere, originally chartered in 1689 as the second military company in Cambridge. This group honors the memory of those who gave everything in the fight for our nation's freedom from Lexington Common to today's front lines. I do need you to know we are firing the muskets. The muskets are going to be fired this way for safety purposes. Please stay in your seats, but be aware the muskets will be fired. So let's put our hands together for the Lexington Minutemen and the Boston Alarm Company.
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Steve Cole. I'm the captain commanding of the Lexington Minutemen. I don't know if anybody has had an opportunity to see the reenactment of the Battle of Lexington. We just celebrated the 250th year anniversary of the Battle of Lexington that took place on April 19, 1775. We're here today. We're going to demonstrate for you the Crown Manual, 1764 Crown Manual of Arms, which was issued to the militia groups in Massachusetts around 1773. We represent Captain John Parker's Lexington Company, so what we demonstrate for you is what the Lexington militia would have been doing on April 19, 1775, leading up to the battle. One thing I want to point out, Captain Parker and his men were drilling about twice a week for a year and a half prior to April 19th. So if you see how sharp my men look today, you can only imagine how proficient and sharp and well-trained Captain Parker and all the militia of 1775 would have been. So this idea that we have that they were just a bunch of farmers that rolled out of bed and grabbed their pitchforks, is a myth. It couldn't be further from the truth. They were well-trained soldiers leading up to what we knew was about to happen. Okay?
Good afternoon. What you actually see are two different groups here, actually probably more than two different groups. You have the Lexington Minutemen on my right, your left, and you have on your right, my left, the Bostonia Alarm Company. The fifes and drums of the 18th century were really the two-way radio of the 18th century. You didn't have those radios, but tunes played on the fife and the drum would signal to the soldiers what they had to do. It ruled their life. It told them when to wake up in the morning, when to go to bed, when to get food, when to get water, when to form up, when to march out, when to strike tents, when to call the pioneers together to go on a work detail. It literally ruled their lives. On a clear day, fifes and drums can be heard for up to a mile away. This is a very loud instrument. Now think about this. When you're on the battlefield, and you'll be hearing the muskets going off momentarily, multiply that by 1,000. Easily. All that noise, all that chaos, a fife and drum could be heard through all of that. It would signal the officers, it would signal the NCOs as to what they needed to do in battle. When you go through the Manual of Arms, do you want a drum accompaniment for prime and load? Okay, sure. So what you're going to hear isn't necessarily music strictly from the 18th century, but we're focusing primarily on the 18th century and early 19th century for music. Now, the music played on the fife and drum were primarily dances. Yes, marches, but tunes the soldiers would recognize, would take their minds off their task at hand. If you think about it, being a soldier in the 18th century, in some respects was a really good gig. In some respects it was really, really, really difficult. Think about Washington in 1777 Valley Forge. No food, no clothes on their backs. Supply lines had run very thin. Even the British Army, the finest army in the world, received their 1778 issue clothing in 1780. So until that time, the British Army, always well-dressed, always well-kept, had to try to cobble together something because their supply lines were not there. It's a very difficult life. However, a tune that you sung in the tavern, a tune that you know from home, a tune that you like to sing, a dance tune, would take your mind off the task at hand. What we're going to be playing for you are those songs that soldiers would have heard on a daily basis. We'll be talking a little bit about the music, What's the one song that everybody knows on the fife and drum? Yankee Doodle. I will tell you the story of Yankee Doodle. Is it a patriotic song? Good answer. Get to that in a minute. They're going through a safety inspection right now.
So what you just saw was the 1764 Crown Manual of Arms. This is what the men were drilling. It was for discipline, for safety, and proficiency as a soldier. As the Lexington Minutemen, one of the things that we're most proud about is we all get to portray an individual person from Captain Parker's company that fought in the Battle of Lexington on April 19, 1775. And we honor them and we keep their memory alive. As the current captain commanding, I have the honor and privilege of portraying Captain John Parker, who led the men that day. Now, unfortunately, Captain Parker was sick with tuberculosis, so he never got to see the outcome of the war. He died in September of that year. But one of the things that makes him such a hero is on the morning of the 19th, during the Battle of Lexington, we lost 8 men, and another 9 were wounded. Well, he had the courage and the leadership to rally the men and continue fighting that day as the Redcoats returned from Concord back to Boston. Also, Captain Parker, he didn't come from any military background when other members of the Lexington Militia did. So the fact that the town of Lexington appointed John Parker as the captain of the militia says a lot about his leadership. So it's a real privilege and honor to portray him. And I'm just going to pass the microphone to all of my guys, and they'll share with you who they portray.
Good afternoon. My name is John Glasaris. I portray Nathaniel Wyman. Although Nathaniel Wyman fought in the battle of the morning of April 19th, he was killed in action in the Battle of Parker's Revenge that afternoon.
Hello, I portray Thaddeus Bowman. Thaddeus Bowman was one of the oldest people on the green that morning. He was also the last scout that Captain Parker sent out to find the British column. Thaddeus Bowman was also the only scout to return and give Captain Parker warning that they were coming. And finally, Thaddeus Bowman was actually the captain of the militia during the 1760s.
I portray Jonathan Loring. He was 25 years old at the time of Lexington and Concord and lived until the year of 1850 when he died at the age of 99.
I portray Sylvanus Wood. He captured the first British soldier of the war and also went on to serve in the Continental Army.
Good afternoon. I portray John Chandler Jr., who was only 16 years old at the time of April 19, 1775. He fought alongside his father, and he lived to the age of 47. He married Margaret Mack of Salem, who lived to be 88, and had 10 children together. He later became captain of the Lexington Minutemen later on in the 1750s.
I portray Joshua Reed Sr. I fought alongside my son Joshua Reed Jr. at the Battle of Lexington.
I portray Simon Winship, a farmer and a captive of the British during the Battle of Lexington and Concord. He was also the first, I guess you could say, POW in American history.
Thank you all very much.
All right, we've been asked to play a couple of songs now. Getting back to Yankee Doodle. Everybody knows this song, Yankee Doodle, correct? All right. Yankee Doodle went to town doing what? Not a horse, a pony. Stuck a feather in his cap and called it... What? We're not talking about pasta. If you want to really understand the song Yankee Doodle and why it was used to make fun of the colonists, rumor has it, it was played as the British troops marched across Lexington Green after the action. Why? Because one of the traditions of the 18th century is the music played the other side's tune when they beat them. But Yankee Doodle was not just a colonist tune. It was a British tune. What's a Yankee? An American. Okay, let's be a little more regionally specific. New Englander. Let's go a little bit further west and south. Just a little bit, though. Come on, baseball fans, help me out here. New York. Before it was New York, it was called New Amsterdam. The Dutch saw the English beginning to settle around them, and they referred to them as Jan K, which translates into John Cheese. But a John Cheese in the 18th century vernacular was a nobody, sort of a John Doe. When you're doodling, are you doing anything important? No. So nobody not doing anything important comes down riding on a what again? A great big stallion. No, a little tiny pony. Sticks a feather in his cap and calls it macaroni. Now, what is that about? In the 18th century, young gentlemen went on the tour of Europe. As they did this, they understood the fashion of the French, they understood the fashion of the Italians. They brought that back to England. They became what we would call dandies today, fops. So, a macaroni. Now, when the British Army came to America to help the colonists get the French out of North America, at least that was the intent, they saw the colonists coming to assist them. Their officers many times would have a feather in their cap. And the British soldiers said, look, that farmer thinks he's a macaroni. Now, if you're not sure whether or not it's a patriotic song, listen to this verse. Yankee Doodle took a saw with a patriot's devotion to trim the tree of liberty according to his notion. He set himself upon a limb like any other doodle, cut between the tree and him, and down came Yankee Doodle. Yankee Doodle broke his neck and every bone about him, and the tree of liberty did very well without him. For Yankee Doodle went to town for to buy a firelock. We will tar and feather him, and so we will John Hancock. Now, not really a patriotic tune. It is rumored that on the 17th of June, 1775, after the second assault of the British troops on the hill, Breed's Hill in Charlestown, the colonists struck up Yankee Doodle. Sort of like, na-na-na-na-na, at the British Army. Unfortunately, they were won too early, because on the third push up the hill, the Crown forces took the hill. So it was a very costly battle. They lost over half their men in casualty and wounded. It was very, very costly. Which is why when Washington put his cannons up on Dorchester Heights, General Howe, who was then in command of the British forces in North America, saw those cannons and said, yeah, no, I was on Bunker Hill. We're not going to do that again, and left. So in March of next year, we are going to celebrate Evacuation Day, the 250th anniversary of the British leaving Boston. March 17th. So Southie for many years had the Evacuation Day parade because they didn't want to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. But in fact, George Washington's first celebration was on St. Patrick's Day and allowed the troops to celebrate St. Patrick on that day because the British were finally out of Boston. We'll play that, and I'll play another tune called, aptly enough, The Road to Boston.